Good morning, everybody. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel so far. If you have not, please hit that subscribe button. I think it's going to be right down there. So hit that button, help my channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it, especially all those of you who continue to watch and continue to comment on my videos. So this week, I've got a really cool one for you that combines two of my favorite things. It's the Mitsubishi Pure Malt Mechanical Pencil. This one's in 0.5 and it's their dark wood, as you can clearly see. Um, since I've been reviewing some other things, like knives and everything, and haven't just focused on stationery, I've had a chance to use this for quite a bit longer than I typically do. I think I'm at a month, maybe a month and a half of use. So I've got a really good feel for how this pencil works, and I've actually really enjoyed it overall, but we'll get into that. While I was reviewing this, there were a few instances where I thought I had lost the pencil. I am still using my Wonder Max Padfolio since I haven't purchased or received another one of those to review, or another type of those, I guess. And I had put it in the pen loop, and I thought I had put it in the pen loop at least. And when I went to pull it out of my bag the next time, this pencil was gone. As a product reviewer who has not done pictures, the video yet, and all of that jazz, I freaked out. I was like, no, I don't want to buy another one, and I really like it, you know? First off, I lost something I liked. Second off, I lost something that I was reviewing and didn't have anything that I normally do done, and I didn't want to post a blog post with no pictures, because where's the fun in that? And it actually ranks better if you have pictures. So I really wanted that. Fortunately, I had just forgotten to put it in the pen loop, and I found it in the bottom of my backpack. I did that at least twice, maybe 3 times, and I don't typically do that. All right, so I think I went off a tangent when I said this is made of two of my favorite things. So this is made of reclaimed whiskey barrels, and it's a mechanical pencil. Mechanical pencils are actually what got me into stationery, and I think if I had to choose, I would say that mechanical pencils are my favorite over fountain pens, just because they're the first things that I used, and I just started using fountain pens a couple of years ago. I always had the Pentel Quicker Clicker or the Graph Gear 500, and those got me through high school and college, honestly. So many maths with those. All right, so like I said, it's made of whiskey, and I just like, in general, I really like wood pens and pencils. I like the texture of wood. It just has a little bit of character to it. It feels like there's some cutouts from the machining process that just gives it a little bit of texture. And then the wood grain obviously helps out a lot. So you can see, if it'll focus, the really nice wood grain on this. Another thing that's great about wood is every pencil is going to be slightly different, just given the wood grain. So it just feels really good in your hand, nice and smooth, and it just has a warmth to it. One thing that I'd like to point out too, while I'm talking about it, is Mitsubishi did a great job of machining these pencils, because you can see there's no wood extended over the tip. And for someone who holds my pencil like that, I know it's a weird grip, but I would get really annoyed with a lip right there. And there's a very, very minor one, but nothing noticeable, or nothing super noticeable, sorry. So the body is fashioned into a torpedo-like design, like a torpedo cigar, probably a little bit closer to a Presidente. And I just like the look of it. It fits well in my hand. I like the smooth taper down to the tip. It's not as aggressive as you see on drafting pencils, but you're also not using it to look ahead on what you're drawing. So this is just strictly for writing. But it's appealing to your eyes, all that fun jazz. So the center of balance lies, if I could do it this time, I did it earlier in the video, about right there. So just under the ring. And for me, since I have big hands, that puts the center of balance below where it rests on my palm. So that makes for a comfortable rider, because then you're not fighting, I forget what it's called, but you're not fighting momentum as you're riding if the center of balance were way up towards the top. Because as you're riding, you know, if you ride aggressively and big, you'd be swinging the tip around quite a bit. So the hardware on this, it seems to be steel. Overall, I had a really hard time finding stats for anything on this pencil. I did find some weight, but that was on eBay, and I don't always trust eBay. So I had to measure a lot of it myself. I'm just guessing that this is steel, just because it's It's a cheap pencil overall at about $9 or $10, depending on where you buy it. And I don't think they'd have any super nice hardware in there. But the clip itself, I mean, it works fine. It's really springy. They did a really good job designing it. I like clips like this that have sort of like a not really spherical, but I can't think of the word right now. But just that design, like a teardrop, half a teardrop almost, just because then it slides over pen loops easier, goes into your pocket easier, and all that stuff. And then it also holds it securely. So it's pretty sturdy. I don't have any nails right now, but you don't have to worry about losing your pencil is what I'm trying to say. So as you can see, let's go to the internals now. The only way I could get this pencil open is by unscrewing the top. I tried taking the body apart, but I don't want to pull hard enough that it's going to come apart, and I just don't want to ruin it. So, but as you can see, it looks like brass. I'm going to guess it is brass because that's common in mechanical pencils. The clutch looks like a brass mechanism, so it's not going to hold a static charge, and it's going to last for quite a long time. I'd never had any problems with using this. With the lead advance mechanism, it always worked well. Sometimes I had some problems with how much lead would come out, but you just do an extra click and you're fine. So not a big deal there. So it looks like the brass extends up into the body. I don't know what's going to be up in this side. Given how light it is back here, I'm going to guess steel, but I can't confirm that. Let me get the tip back on. And the mechanism, I mean, works fine. No issues. As you can see, well, I guess it was out of frame, but it's top-notch mechanical pencil. And unfortunately, it has everyone's favorite drafting eraser. Couldn't find any replacement parts for this, but from what I could find online, the best guess that I have is an SKS from Uni, since Uni is the company of Mitsubishi. And here in America, that's all we have. I don't think we have a Mitsubishi pencil company. We just have Uni. But they're the same thing, just different names. But the eraser, I mean, it works well for minor jobs, as always. I mean, that's what they're designed to do. You're definitely going to want to carry a secondary eraser, whatever your preference is. I would highly recommend it. So as I said before, I had a really hard time finding any stats for this. So all the measurements were done myself except for weight. I don't have a scale. But I did find on eBay it was about 28.5 grams. I don't always trust eBay, but that's the best I've got right now, so that's all I can do. The length of it is about 5.5 inches long, which is pretty standard. I feel like 5.4 to 5.6 is right where most of the pens and pencils and all that stuff I review are. As far as diameter, I always have a little bit of a harder time measuring diameter. I'll typically just take the bookmark and wrap it around and then measure how much of the bookmark had wrapped around, so it's not super accurate. But I measured about 40 millimeters at the thickest point. I didn't measure the taper down here, just because, like I said, it's hard. It's not accurate for me. I'm not typically good at it. So overall, I've had a really good time using this pencil. I've liked that I've had more time to use it than I typically do, just because I really like wooden pencils. And it's a great shape. It fits well in my hands. I like things with thicker grips. And it's just good. It's got a lot of my favorite things on it. I'm kind of actually bummed that I'm going to have to jump to something else, but I think I'm going to do maybe a Kuru, Toga, or a Delgard next for my pencils, so at least it'll be a good one to jump into, or at least I hope it'll be good. Stay tuned and we'll see how it holds up. So for about $9 to $11, depending on where you purchase it, I think this is an awesome deal. It's just a great pencil, really good quality. I like that it's made of whiskey barrels. And also, I don't think I mentioned in the video, but the coloring, they don't use any dyes from what I could find. The only stats I could find on that are from their high grade one. So you're getting a really old whiskey barrel, like 50-year-old whiskey from a 150-year-old barrel, stuff like that. So you're going to pay a lot for that wood. But, most whiskeys have a charred oak barrel. And so that's going to come from the colorants of the whiskey. This is going to come from the char and then the color of the whiskey as the whiskey turns darker brown over the years. So I would highly recommend this pencil if you like wood and mechanical pencils, and if you really like whiskey, it's a really great fit. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.